Local and live. Covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk TriState.
Welcome to Let's Talk TriState, and I am honored to have one of our Best of the TriState 2026 winners here from Partners in Pediatrics. We have Dr. Obidi. Now, Doctor, I have to say that you and I have, in full disclosure to our audience viewing, you and I have kind of done this before.
Yes, we have.
At the Besties, as we call them, which is where everyone receives their plaques and certificates and the walk the red carpet, so to speak. We do on-the-spot red carpet interviews with some of the winners. And you were one of those winners that we had there, and it was my time to handle the interviews at that point. And I said, and you will see this as the interview unfolds, that you can tell right away how passionate you are about what you do, how passionate you are about your patients, your practice, the care that you provide. Now, as I just said, you were voted Best Pediatric Office. Multiple times this has happened for you. What do you think has helped Partners in Pediatrics to stand out in the community, so much so that the community rallies and makes you winner Best of the TriState?
Yeah, well, first off, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to our chat here. It is really an honor to have been voted Best Pediatric Office multiple years in a row. And especially because, as you said, the community is the one doing that, right? The people we are serving. So to be recognized that way has been very humbling, and I'm really appreciative. And I think it's really because we lean into our mission and our vision and our values. Like, it really means a lot to us. Our mission really is to provide primary care services, exceptional primary care services for our patients. And our vision is to positively impact the lives of 100,000 families in the tri-state area and create opportunities for 100 team members to fulfill their personal, professional, and financial goals. And I think just really rallying around that has helped us, and leaning into our values. One of them, for instance, is infectious hospitality. So we really make sure that when parents come in and their families come into the practice, that they feel seen, heard, they feel welcomed. You know, it's not contrived. They really feel a genuine warmth, you know, when they come into the practice. Another value is impactful results. Which means that we are dedicated to making sure our patients have results, you know, and that could be just making sure that when we are taking care of their general health care maintenance, that we're making sure we're on top of everything they need, you know, to maintain good health. For those who have chronic conditions, that we're really actually managing them and making sure they get results. And if they need a specialist, we're doing timely referrals. Just making sure that we are leaning into providing what we're there for and doing it in an environment where they feel really comfortable. We have another value that is unyielding integrity, especially in this environment, that our parents are able to develop high trust, you know, with us, and know that we're on their side. And if we say something, you know, we mean it, and we're not trying to trick them into anything. So I think those are really help us create the environment that I believe has helped us be voted the Best Pediatric Office by the community, and really means a lot to us.
I would definitely agree with that. When you and I spoke at the Bestie Awards, parents at this point in their lives, when parents have a child, when they're blessed with that little one, I don't think that you ever feel more vulnerable than when that happens. And I think the reason, because one could say, well, what would cause someone to visit a website to specifically cast a vote for Partners in Pediatrics, or insert business here? I think you really hit on the collective as to why this is. Never more vulnerable than when you have a child. You sometimes think that, oh, this is stupid. They're going to think I'm dumb if I show up because XYZ is happening with my child. And when you make them feel welcome and they feel heard, and they are not made to feel as if they are a nuisance, that is what's, and not to mention you are helping them take care of their most treasured thing that they have in their life, being their child or children. I think that's the reason why, is because that really sinks in. When you find a pediatrician, when you find someone, or in your case, an entire office, who have your child's care at the top of their mind, and it's their focus when you walk in the door, and even after they walk out, that's what causes people to do that, because that is impactful. And you said impacting lives. That's exactly what that is. And I want to go back to talking about new parents. Now, what are some of the bigger challenges that you see families facing when it comes to being new parents?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think in this day and age that we're in, it's a mixed blessing when you're in the information age where information is just everywhere, right?
Yes.
All you need to do is speak into your phone. Yeah. And now we even have AI, right? Where you can just get all that information. But I think also parents end up feeling very overwhelmed. There's just a lot of information. And so sometimes you're just not sure what to trust or what to believe because everyone has competing ideas of how you should handle any one particular situation you're facing. And on top of that, we're increasingly becoming quite independent and becoming more isolated, right? Sure. We're not having as many relationships around us, physical relationships around us. A lot of things are going online. And the old adage, it takes a village to raise a kid. But there are less villages these days, sure, right? So lots of people feel very isolated and alone. And I think that's a big challenge. And that can impact just your level of anxiety when it comes to caring for a newborn, caring for a kid. And I think that's why it's really important that you develop a great relationship with your pediatrician because that at least is one thing you can rely one source and one relationship you can rely on and trust, and help you sort of make sense sometimes of what's out there.
You brought up the Google age, the WebMD, the now with ChatGPT, all the AI stuff. My wife is a big Googler and a ChatGPTer. Now I use the AI for work, and it certainly helps me with that. But we have a 6-year-old daughter. God love her; she's the light of our lives, and we certainly want the best care. And I finally told my wife, I said, "Honey, you can either allow the AI and the Google to allow you to ask more questions or draw conclusions." And it's questions versus conclusions. And I think with what you're talking about is it's fine if when you Google this, you have those questions when you get to the doctor's office. Well, and I've always outed myself. If I take my child somewhere and my wife said X, Y, Z, I said, my wife said that, she did some research and could it be this? Very quickly, usually, well, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, and then move to the side. But what I don't allow it to do is have me draw conclusions. Because that's your job. You're the one who's going to draw those conclusions. If I'm going to draw conclusions, I don't need you.
Man, not bother.
Right, exactly.
No, it's a great, like you said, you use it for work also, and it's helped you become more efficient. I use it for work also, just become more efficient with charting and just sort of managing documentation. But you're right, where we still need a human that can make that has context, right? Because sometimes a headache could be just a simple headache because I'm dehydrated, I didn't drink enough water, or it could be something more serious, right? And so being able to make sure that you have someone that that you trust, that has context, your whole child and family to make sense of what's going on, I think is really important.
Well, not to mention too is that no matter what, this is what I think is very telling and what I wish people would understand. And if they really kind of reverse engineer this, it might make more sense. You Google, you WebMD, you ChatGPT. But ultimately, what do? You say, we need to see the doctor.
Even if you get overwhelmed, right?
Even if you're the person who's doing all of it, you say, well, they need to go to the doctor. That's you are admitting that you still need that comfort, and this is to your point, impact. You need the comfort, you need the impact that your office provides. Now, access to care is a major concern for families right now. And how is your practice able to offer timely appointments and work people in? And how do you, what is your mentality when you're addressing your staff? Everyone from the person who makes the appointments to the triage nurse to the person who is responsible for making sure your trash cans are emptied. What process do you have?
So for many years we still do have a slogan that says "Sick kid, call today, sin today," because I like to say you have a daughter, right? And it'll be wonderful if they say, "Hey, Dad, in 1 week I'm going to have a sore throat and a fever, and in 2 months, like some diarrhea and vomiting. So go make those appointments now. Take the time off work, so that we're all good to go."
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, that doesn't happen, and so being able to create space in our schedule to see parents and their kids same day when you're sick or have an issue or need a problem, I think is really important. So we actually huddle every morning and identify all the spots in the day where we can see parents same day they call. And it's really important that they have access to care.
Is it true, because my daughter's pediatrician said this to me, and I'm not doubting him when I say this, so forgive me for saying is it true? But he told me that because my daughter is seemingly, and she's school age, has been. Yeah. And for a while there, I felt like she was getting sick like every month or 2 months. And he said that children can get sick sometimes 6 to 10 times a year.
It's so funny because when you said, is it true? The first thing that came to my mind was, that's probably what you're going to ask.
Right, yes.
And I actually tell parents the same thing. When your kid starts school, you're going to expect at least 6 colds a year. Six illnesses. It's crazy. But that's basically every other month, right? Sure. They're sick.
Because we think, and I know, you come from a time too, and as do I, where you believed, and then even with COVID seemed to kind of ramp this thought up, is, well, when I get a cold, I'm good for a year. My immunity is good for a year. But that's not the case with kids.
No, it's not. And they're exposed to so much also, right? The good thing is kids are very resilient. And so most times, it's an illness that will pass quickly and they just need good care.
Okay. Now, our next question here is something that I love. We did not get to talk about this at the Besties before, but you created something called the Newborn Prep Academy. Yeah. I want you to take me through this. What is this?
So this is probably around COVID around COVID pandemic when they first started, and just realized at that point I'd cared for thousands of newborns already and their families, and I love doing it. Sure. And I hear the same question over and over again. I was like, it'd be wonderful, because I also realized that a lot of the anxiety and worry parents had will have been avoided or just much reduced if they already knew the information ahead of time. Okay. Like if they already knew this sort of breathing pattern is okay, that's common for a newborn. Oh, my baby's sneezing all the time. Do they have a cold? No, that's very common for newborns to sneeze. Okay. Oh my God, like the umbilical cord looks so raw, it's hurting baby. No, they don't feel any pain in the umbilical cord area, right? Those small things that cause a lot of worry and anxiety. And then the bigger things also, I just felt if they knew ahead of time, we'll just have a mom and a dad who are just more confident caring for the newborn. And so I kind of developed an online platform where I just created content around that, around the questions parents have, and that has been a joy to create over the years. I now actually have an online community for new moms where they can get to, for less than 25 cents a day, get to have access to me to ask questions. I have just amazing wealth of exclusive content for them to help learn how to care for their newborn and that first year of life. And so that's been very helpful for our parents.
It sounds like it.
And a lot of the information also is available on some of my social handles where they can just go and just learn.
Well, it too is it's different, and it differs from the typical Googling WebMDing because this is a local provider who is curating this information, and ultimately you're saying, look, at the end of the day, if you feel like your child needs to be seen, obviously give us a call. This is not to preclude that. This is just more or less to handle the anxiety that could come from this, because I'm sure in your practice you have countless examples you can't possibly follow them all the way, but you have countless examples of these common things that you've put on the Newborn Academy, where when they're in your office and you say this, they're like, oh.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I get it moment. Well, you're actually putting those online now and saying,
for sure,
here's the most common ones, here are the heavy hitters, but they're probably not as abnormal as you might think that they are. Because when you're a parent, you think, you told me before when you had your child, you're a pediatrician. I was freaking
out when she had her first fever, for sure. Like, parenting is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart, for sure.
Right, exactly.
They don't come with manuals that, explain how to care for them.
Yeah, of course.
So I think it's really been important. It's been important to have that information, and it also tells them when to worry, also, or when to bring something up.
Yes.
But that's been really. There's only so much you can do within the context of a doctor's office and the short amount of time you have while you're there, and a lot of questions come up after you've left the office. So. That has been, I think, a useful resource for our parents. And, it's really open to everyone. So it's not even just in the local area.
Now, you brought up about how you have the service where they can access you for less than 25 cents a day. assuming that those parents are also, their children are in your care, is that something that when they ask those questions and they have these perhaps a symptom or whatever, are they then added to the chart as it goes along so that you have access to it?
Yes, it's actually just a separate effort. It's not even just our parents, our patients. It's really just an online platform so moms can get together, have community. I have some training on there about what to expect when you bring your baby home, you know, how to think about feeding, about caring for the umbilical cord or circumcision, just some basic things, some training about how to transition to feeding them solids, and just things that parents just face in general. And so, and then I have Q&A sessions where I come on and they can hop on the call and just ask questions.
That's wonderful.
And then, you know, when it's something that will require a pediatrician or your provider, because that's really important, that, you know, I kind of guide them that this is something they should bring the kid in for or take the kid to their pediatrician for.
I love that you are offering all of this not as a replacement.
Yeah, it's not a replacement.
But an enhancement, so to speak. Or
yes.
you would almost call it like, you know, here's the textbook, but here are some ancillary things that you can help along the way. You're the textbook, bringing them in. But then we can kind of guide you a little bit. It's like your sidecar, so to speak. And I want to end with this, Dr. Obidi. You're very busy. Don't want to take up too much of your time. For anyone who's watching this right now who is about to be a new parent or is a new parent, what can you say, just a couple tips that can set them up immediately for the best chance at success? Yeah,
that's a great question. I think it's important I actually call this the confident mom mindset. So to get it, and this you could really just say confident parent mindset. We just get into a mindset that you are the best parent for your kid. I think it's really important to understand that first of all. You're the best parent. Doesn't matter if they came to you naturally or by adoption or however that child got into your care, that you're the best parent for that kid. You have all it takes to parent them, you know, confidently. And that I also think this needs to be controversial also. I think that your kids should also adapt to your way of being in the world and not the other way around. Because I think a lot of times parents are trying to change how they just normally show up. Your kid just needs three things. They need love, they need to be fed, and they need safety.
Yes.
And outside of that, you know,
kind of the same thing you need all the way through life.
Exactly, right? And so just understanding that you're also resourceful and that you can get information you need when you need it, just trusting yourself to be able to get that information. Lining up your support around you, because you will need support as a new parent. It's really important that whether that's having a pediatrician or having friends, family, just people that you can lean on, and starting to plan ahead also how you get to rest as well, whether that's taking brief moments when the baby is resting or sleeping, or just having people that can come and sort of help care for the baby while you get some rest. It's really important because that can be quite exhausting those first several months.
I don't think there's ever been anything I've seen that's more overwhelming than having a new child. Mentally, physically, it stresses every aspect of your existence. But I told my wife, you know, and she's very much led to, you know, she's a mom, and moms, good moms worry.
Yes.
And I've told her, I said, when she questions me, I said, and hun, and yet people do it every day.
Yes.
And so I've always told her, and I think you're saying this, is to all the expectant moms and dads, you can do this.
Yes, absolutely.
I promise you can do this.
Absolutely.
And you are setting parents up for success. You are keeping them going, and you are a gem that we have in our area. Your team.
Thank you.
I would love to come to your office and have a visit, and I would also love to sit in and watch one of your Q&A sessions that you offer. I think it'd just be beneficial as a parent to see these things. This is Dr. Obidi from Partners in Pediatrics in Hagerstown. They certainly would love to see your child and your family as your caregiver, and they can be found online at partnersinpediatrics.co. Winner Best of the TriState 2026 for Best in Pediatrics. So, Dr. Obidi, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
And thank you so much for joining us today on Let's Talk TriState.
Let's talk TriState.
If you'd like to be featured on an upcoming episode of Let's Talk TriState, call 717-597-9200 or email letstalk@921thegoat.com.